Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my 5.4 camera, my MPP, and a little modification if you shoot 5.4 would probably be extremely useful for you. It's certainly useful for me. Using the MPP has been very difficult for me, particularly the older eyesight, not wonderful. Using a loop, great, but the screen is extremely dim and I've been missing things around the edges. The last two photo shoots before lockdown that I was able to go out and do actually missed things coming into the edge of the frame because things were so dim. So I decided that I needed to do something about it, and I saw on eBay a Fresnel screen, and I read some reviews about Fresnel screens, and they seem a little difficult to fit because for best operation they should go between the lens and the ground glass, and that's not easy on a camera that wasn't designed to take a Fresnel. However, I saw another interesting little article on a forum that said you could quite comfortably put them behind the ground glass screen, in other words facing you. So I took a punt. I ordered from Hong Kong a not a ground glass screen, a Fresnel screen for £37. Not a vast amount to spend on a Fresnel, but if it didn't work, £37 wasted. So it arrived and it proved quite simple to fit. It's actually now on here, and the difference is quite spectacular. I would have said it's made the screen probably 2 to 3 stops brighter and much more even. In other words, the corners of the screen are as bright as the centre. That makes a lot of difference, and I'm looking forward to getting out and using the camera. So it works, not in the most ideal position. I mean, it'll probably make a lot more difference if it's used where it's intended to be used, but for this it's simply fitted under the clips that hold the ground glass screen anyway, and as an added bonus it's acrylic, so it actually adds a small layer of protection to the ground glass screen underneath. So I'm looking forward to getting into it and using it, but I'm going to put a link up to the screen on eBay, and the seller is really pleasant and was very communicative, and I'm going to recommend that if you've got a 5.4 that you get one of these screens. If you can fit one, then do, because it'll make a real difference. And the old 5.4 is also going to be getting a new lens shortly. I have one on order from Japan, which is where I got the Fuji 150, and I've been wanting a portrait lens. Not that I can take any portraits of anyone at the moment due to lockdown, but I'm looking forward to actually doing that when we can. So I've ordered a 250mm soft focus, which is a monster of a lens, and I'll be going through in another episode making a lens board specifically to fit that lens. Now, moving onwards to adapters. Those of you who are fairly regular to my channel will know that I shoot mirrorless cameras as well as film cameras, and I do love my Sony A7. The problem with it has always been battery life, and to the end of trying to go out without a massive pocket full of batteries, I bought a Niwa battery grip, which I've done a review of in a previous video. Fantastic piece of kit, I love it to bits. It really transforms this camera. Means that you can shoot all day without having to worry about battery life. Okay, so it's no longer compact, but it solves that problem. As a user of cameras right up to 5x4, I'm not really that worried about being compact. The issue that I have had is that I want to use this camera with this beast. This is my 100mm macro Sony, no, it's not, Sigma. And this is a beast. It's another lens that I've done a review of. Fabulous lens, weighs a ton. It's useless as a macro lens, but is absolutely fabulous as a portrait lens. The problem is it's so heavy, I'm worried that it will actually rip the lens mount or damage the lens mount out of the front of the Sony. So when mounted on a tripod, which is sensible with a big lens like this, I was worried that if I used the tripod mount in the base of the Niwa battery grip, not only is the Niwa battery grip a little lightly built, but then I've got all that weight hanging on the front. So let's just mount this lens. I use quite a few different adapters, and I found that adapters that are cheaply made, the sort of £10–12 ones, are a bit of a waste of money. Especially the Minolta MD adapter that I was using on this lens. It didn't lock properly, and I was seriously worried that the whole lens was going to come off and fall on a small person and probably do them a terrible injury. I do have adapters by a great company called K&F Concepts. Now, I'm not connected with them and I'm not advertising their products or getting paid by them. Chance to be a fine thing. But I've got several of their other adapters for Micro Four Thirds and for Sony. And they come in these fantastic boxes which stop them rattling around in your bag, and it's really quite handy. So I ordered a Minolta MD mount with a tripod bush, which is what I have on here, and mounted under that I have a Niwa Arca Swiss plate, a short one. I could do with a longer one actually, but this allows me at last to fit the camera on a tripod with the battery grip. And on my Manfrotto 144 Art, which I picked up, a battered old tripod I picked up for next again to nothing, but it's so solid. This is fabulous. I'm going to show you some pictures of that. And in general, I just think this is a fabulous solution. Not going to be great for everybody because not everybody has one of these ridiculous lenses, but if you happen to have a big 200mm lens of any sort that doesn't have a tripod mount, and it's a Minolta MD or any other mount that K&F Concepts offer a a tripod mounting foot on, I will get it. They are that much more expensive. They're around £24–25 for an adapter, but it's well worth it. The only slight downside was when this one came, the little screws that actually hold the foot onto the adapter were a little bit loose and there was a little tiny bit of play, but I got a watch screwdriver and just tightened that up and it's fine. So there we have it. They do all kinds of different adapters. That's a Micro Four Thirds to M42, It's all kinds of stuff. And they are good value for money because they actually work. So that solved the problem, and I can be using this. And as soon as we come out of lockdown, I will be. Whilst I'm on that and talking about tripods, I'll have a quick shout out for buying old tripods. I have, as I say, a Manfrotto 144, which I will just grab into shot. It's a complete bruiser. It's quite heavy and it's seen better days, but it all works because it's a professional tripod, and I paid around £40 for it, which is extremely good value. This will hold the 5.4 all day. I can just load it up with stuff and it's absolutely fine. No, it's not light. I can't really afford a carbon fibre tripod. I'm not sure I'd want one. I'm quite old school. I'm quite used to big aluminium tripods. The only other choice I had was the tripod which is actually supporting the Panasonic Lumix at the moment, which is shooting this, and that is a big Camlink video tripod which weighs as much as a small planet and probably has its own gravitational field. It's great, but it's way too heavy, at least to be taking out of the house. So this is a fabulous piece of kit, and I thoroughly recommend it. The other tripod that I absolutely adore, I will bring in just a moment. As a complete bonus, this is a little Ulanzi kind of bendy pod that does that kind of thing, and it's remarkably useful. It was absolutely super cheap. It can be used for holding an iPhone if you're blogging, or if you're on a Zoom call nowadays. It'll hold certainly hold the Lumix GH2 for video work, and it's just great to tuck in the corner of your bag. It'll clamp around a tree and whatever. It's a really useful little thing. I think it's about £16. It's certainly not expensive, and just has now got a permanent corner of my bag that it lives in and goes everywhere with me. Anyway, this has been a short but sweet review section today. I'll be back with getting outside and taking some pictures very, very shortly, particularly with the 5.4. So if you've enjoyed this, do give us a like, and if you want to see more, have a think about subscribing. Anyway, take care. See you soon.